Uh, Once again, my humble namaskar to everybody. And at this very auspicious moment of Navaratri and Sri Sri Durga Mahapuja, and our well wish to everybody that we pray to the lotus feet of the goddess Durga, the mother of this universe, that Ma keep everybody, the mother keep everybody safe and healthy. So now let me finish my opening prayer first, and then I will go to the our main subject today, the Dhyana Yoga or yoga of meditation. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayo Mudiraye Vyasaya Vishnurupaya Vyasarupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahma Vidhaya Vasishtaya Namo Namaha Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayana Sutra Bhashyo Krito Bande Bhagavanto Punaha Punaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Bande Guru Paramparam Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Namaha. Okay. So let me go to our subject directly instead of spending more time. So we were in the chapter 6. The name of the chapter 6 is Dhyana Yoga or yoga of meditation. This is one of the most beautiful chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, because in this chapter Lord Krishna emphasized and encouraged us to practice meditation for our peace and harmony of our mind, and to keep us healthy also. Because meditation is the food of our hungry mind. Like how we eat something every day to keep ourselves fit, the body fit. We take 3-time meal. Similarly, we need to feed our mind too. And the food of the mind is the meditation and quiet chanting the holy name of the Lord. We call jap. So jap and dhyana, quiet chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and meditation, these go side by side. And meditation becomes so popular all over the world because meditation helps us to keep our pressure down. Meditation helps us to keep us free from diabetes and heart problem also if we do regular meditation, because it helps us to function all the physical system perfectly. It helps us to keep us cool when at the time of anger or the temptation. And meditation will give you, overall meditation will give you eternal peace. You will feel a different kind of fulfillment in your life. The fulfillment or the peace and the joy you never that experienced with the material things. We buy good furniture, we buy good home, we save our money in the bank, we buy good clothes, we eat good food, but all this we try to please our body only. To please our mind, to feed our mind properly, we have to find out time for quiet meditation, and that time will be all alone except myself and my Lord. And then if we do a regular practice of meditation, bit by bit, one day you will be surprised to see how much changes went on you, your entire appearance, your words coming out from your mouth, the living style, all will be changing, and ultimately a day will come, you will enjoy divine peace. So we are going directly to this subject today. From now on, you will see next couple of verses how Lord Krishna explaining the process of meditation, how we should sit, what we should do, what kind of, how much we sleep, how much we should remain wakeful, and how much we could eat and what we should not eat. All those things we'll be discussing now. So I'm taking you to the verse number 10 of the chapter 6. Yogi junjit satatam atmanam rahose sthitah ekaki yat chetatma nirashira parigraha. Om Namaha Sri Bhagavate Vasudevaya Sri Krishnaya Namo Namaha. Verse number 10, chapter 6. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna at the battleground of Kurukshetra. Lord Krishna took the job to drive the chariot of Arjuna, and Arjuna became very sad. He collapsed at the battleground. He could not take it anymore to see the practical situation at the battleground. So his guru, his friend, his guide, his mentor, Krishna, trying to bring back his self-confidence and reminding his duties to the society. In the process of doing so, Lord Krishna teaching Arjuna about the process of meditation. He said, Yogi Junjita Satatam Atmanam, a yogi or a person or a devotee, by sitting alone at a perfectly quiet place with control and one-pointed mind, being free from anxieties, refraining from gathering things which are obstacles of spiritual journey, should constantly contemplate on the self. And you could see how Lord Krishna went deep into this process of meditation. So what Lord Krishna say here? Yogi. Yogi means a devotee or a person, a spiritual seeker, or a person who is hungry for spiritual food. So whose mind is crying to feel the touch of divinity, to feel the touch of the Lord Krishna. So he is counted as a yogi. It could be a sannyasi, it could be a family person, it could be somebody else, or a devotee who is honestly, soulfully hungry for the spiritual food. Yogi junjitaha means must practice. Satatam atmanam. Atma here is contemplating on inner self, the true self. Because we all are familiar with the word now that God realization is nothing to realization our own self, to identify our own beauty. to recognize God, that He is already present in us. He is always dwelling at the altar of our heart. As soon as we close our eyes, go deep into the meditation, we could see that beautiful appearance of the Bhagavan Krishna with his flute is in hand, with the Banke Bihari Rupa, with peacock feather on his head. We could feel him. But if you do not believe in the Murti Puja or the image, if you think that I should not meditate on the image, no need not to meditate on the image. You could think of that beautiful soul, which is being ultimate goal of our life. So a spiritual seeker, a devotee should meditate shatatam. It will be, initially we might be sitting at one place, but then after all we'll develop that way. Wherever we are, we will learn the technique and art of meditation always. Satatam Atmanam. That means we're sitting in the meditation, we're looking into us. Because I mentioned a couple of times that that kind Father, that Lord, that Parama Purusha, Purushottama Sri Bhagavan, gave enormous good quality among all of us. And that good quality, that divinity, that already hiding inside of us. Because it is being like how the when a mirror is tainted with the dust, is we cannot see our face properly. So because of the hundreds of material hunger, which is covering our that thing which we cannot see inside. So that is why we need meditation, Guru Seva, philanthropic activity, service to mankind to clean that dust from our mind so that we could see the beautiful appearance of the Lord. So Satatam Atmanam, you sit down, ekaki, rahashi sthitaha. At a quiet place you're sitting alone. Because nowadays group meditation is being introduced. Because when you're sitting alone, you might not feel that encouragement. Unlike we monk live in the monastery, meditation is we must do meditation every day. But in the family life, you have whole day work, morning time, maybe early morning 4, you're going to office, coming back 6 or 7, and then you have so much things to do in home. So you may not find that way, but we have to find out a time. We have to adjust time such a way that we get little time for ourselves only. No phone call, nothing. That time we close our eyes and just focus one pointed way at the beauty of the Lord. So Rahoshi Stitaha Ekaki. It should be alone. Because when you're sitting at the corner of your home, say that at a corner of your home, you make a seat for you and you sit down particular time, particular that moment you sit. Because if you practice to sit meditation for particular time, a time will come. That time your mind will be so hungry to sit for meditation. So time is very kind of essential. So fix up a particular time, not like one day morning, one day evening, one day midnight, one day midday. So it will not work. It have to have a particular time to, like how we take a shower, we take food timely, go to the bed timely. Similarly, meditation time also should be fixed. So yogi junjita shatatam atmanam, a spiritual seeker, a spiritually hungry person, a devotee of the Lord should constantly meditate on the soul, on the self, rahashi sthitaha ekaki. By trying to sit down alone meditation time, you may Swamiji that nowadays we see meditation courses, in the group meditation courses. Even we do at our temple, our Brian conduct meditation every Monday night, 7 to 8:30. And well, right now, because of this the virus problem, the meditation class is suspended. But as soon as things are okay, then Brian will be starting the meditation class. So we do meditation class at every alternative Monday, 7 to 8:30. It's a group meditation, and you will enjoy that. I mean, you'll see that you'll be enjoying the silence, you'll be enjoying the quietness, you'll be enjoying that how deep you could go in meditation, and how you'll feel the touch of God after a 1.5 hour of meditation or 1 hour of meditation. You'll be surprised to see that how much it changes. So it need to be that either alone or a environment where everybody come there, no talks except quiet meditation. Yato Chetatma, we need to master our senses. We have been talking because the eyes are always looking outside, our ears are always hearing outside things, our mouth is eating something which is not in the body. So we need to have some control on our senses. If I do not want to hear something, we should not hear. If we do not want to see something, we should not see. Because in a flower garden, there are so many beautiful flowers. It's different color, it's different smell, its appearance is different, and that's make a flower garden so beautiful. Similarly, this entire world is a creation of God. All human being is counted as a beautiful flower. We all look different from each other. Our color, our facial appearance, our the origin of birth, the practice of faith. All these are different, but all the entire art becomes so beautiful because it's all different appearance we have. So we all human being counted. Imagine this entire art is a beautiful flower garden, and we are flower there. We are the wonderful child of that beautiful Lord. Our birth is to worship. If we think that I'm a flower in this beautiful garden of the planet Earth, so how a flower we pick up from garden, offer at the feet of the Lord. Similarly, our life also need to be offered at the lotus feet of the Lord. Is a puja, is an offering. So, ekaki rahasya sthita ekari. Either group meditation or should be alone. Make sure you don't talk that time. Try to avoid all kind of WhatsApp, Facebook, telephone call, email, whatsoever. Keep us busy, make us more restless. You could see sometimes people coming in the temple, they're so restless, phone in hand, coming temple for 1 minute prayer. In the meantime, 3-4 phone call, looking Facebook, looking WhatsApp, and look like it. I could see how restless. So that time we have to avoid everything. We forget everything except our Lord. Nirashiro aporigraha. That particular moment when you're sitting for meditation, you closing your eyes and you focusing your inner beauty. You looking into finding out your true existence. Who are you? What is your true identity? What is your true home? Like how many of us came from a different country and adapted to this beautiful country of the United States of America. So this entire world is like a foreign land to us. This is not our home. We came to do some particular work, to fulfill some particular mission. As soon as our mission is finished, our role is finished, we take leave of this place. We don't wait for nobody. Our children, our parent, our husband, our wife, our Swamijis, our priest, our guru, our duty. We don't wait for nobody. We just live. So Lord Krishna is saying that a devotee sit for meditation and focusing one pointed, finding out, looking inner beauty, Atmanam, Rahasisthita Ekaki, alone. Or if you're joining a group meditation class, it should be focused only meditation. And I mentioned that meditation and japa, this go together. What is japa? Japa is the quiet chanting of the name of the Lord. This can go side by side. Yato Chittatma, at least for that particular time, we withdraw our mind from outside world. Nirashiraha. We have so much of expectation, so much of hankering, so much of wishes in our mind. We always planning, I fulfill this wish today, tomorrow I will fulfill that wish, and day after tomorrow I should fulfill other wish too. So in this way, one after another wish is developing at our mind. But that particular time of the meditation, please forget all this expectation and wishes and desire. Aporigraha. Aparigraha also things to avoid, which is obstruction for our spiritual journey. There's so much thing. It could be your friend, it could be something, it could be environment, it could be many things. It obstructs your spiritual journey. And you know that because you all know, you living in life. So we learning our experience of our own life, and then how there are things which is obstructing. Sometimes, honestly, I'm telling you, sometimes we need to be very selfish. Selfish in the, I mean that in the time of meditation, in the time you worshiping your Lord, in spiritual practices, your quiet chanting of the name of the Lord, this time, if you are selfish, don't worry for that. You are not selfish because you kind of abandoning some things and you are enjoying by yourself. No, I'm not talking of that. I'm talking only meditation. If you become selfish, that okay, I have to do meditation today, I no matter what. So if people say you are selfish, you're thinking for yourself, no. This is, you don't worry for that. Because you focus in your mind for the goal of the life, for the final destination of life. So what we see in this particular verse, Lord Krishna say, devotee by sitting alone at a perfectly quiet place with control and one-pointed mind, you could see, being free from anxiety, refraining from gathering things which are obstacles at your spiritual journey, should constantly contemplate on the self. And now, how we should sit for meditation, that we will be hearing from the mouth of Lord Sri Krishna. I will be taking you to verse number 11 and 12 together. Verse number 11 and 12, chapter 6. शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य स्थिरमासनमात्मनः नात्तु श्रितं नाति नीचं चैलाजिन कुशत्तरम् तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा यत चित्तेन्द्रियक्रियः उपविश्यासने युञ्यात् योगोमात्मविशुद्धये। ॐ नमः श्री भगवते वासुदेवाय श्री कृष्णाय नमो नमः. That is the verse number 11 and 12. I'm reading the meaning for you. By fixing a seat made of with a deer skin and kusha grass, sitting steadily at a holy spot, not too high, not too low, covered by a piece of cloth, a devotee should sit to practice meditation. He needs to concentrate the mind and one direction up to God by controlling the activities of the mind and the senses. So let me go to the main verse in Sanskrit. Shucho deshe pratisthapya. Shucho deshe, we should fix up, put our asana at a clean place. Shucho is the pavitra, pure place, holy place, a clean place. Shucho deshe pratishtha. So we set up our asana. Sthiram asanam atmanaha. And we sit down steadily at our asana. Nattu stritam. The seat should not be too high, because there's a possibility to fall down. So I was attending a meditation class in Augusta, Georgia. And some other places also I went to attend just to learn the technique, because we do meditation every day, but we need to learn how to teach meditation. Because teaching meditation one thing and practicing meditation individually, that is other thing. So we need to learn the technique and art and way how we can teach meditation to the fellow devotees of the Lord. So sometimes I see people sit on the chair because they have the knee problem, they have the pain at the knees. So they allow to sit in the chair. But then we have to be careful because you're sitting alone on the chair, you might, because sometime while you're doing meditation, sleep come, a sleepy kind of attitude come, you might fall down from the chair. So you have to be so careful. Because I saw in meditation class, because the people are very advanced of their age, they cannot sit by folding their leg on the floor, and so they sit on the chair. But usually meditation time we use a small pillow or something, as here Lord Krishna say. So you have to sit steadily. Shuchau deshe pratisthapyo sthiram asanam atmanaha. So please fix up your seat at a holy place, at a pure place, where you could sit down long time, keeping your body straight. Nattu sritam. That asana should not be too high. Nati nicham. And the seat for meditation should not be too low too. Choila jino kusattaram. Some kind of asana you sit, you feel a kind of holy kind of feeling, pure feeling. So here usually we use a blanket or a small kind of pillow. As soon as you sit at your asana for meditation, you feel perfectly holy, perfectly pure. You feel that you are right now, you're going deep into the meditation. So luxuriness we should avoid at the time of meditation. So please keep in mind, because we're sitting in front of our Lord, we are hungry, we are begging Lord, like Dhruva, like Prahlad, like thousands of devotees in this world, how they practice. Our mind, our body, our soul is hungry to get the blessings of our most beloved friend. So we should avoid all kind of luxury of that time. So choila jino kusattaram. Kusha asana usually we leave. That's a kind of the plant we use to make the asana. But however, we can buy a simple blanket and a pillow. We can make our asana. So we can sit down, keeping our body straight. Tatra ekagrang manoho kita. Verse number 12. Tatra ekagrang manoho kritya. So our mind should be focused at one point. But you know what is interesting? I mean, I realized I used to attend meditation, with Professor Carter. Me and Brian used to go sometimes to attend meditation class. So we sit down, say 1.5 hour class. We attending almost 25 people sitting front to front. So as soon as you close your eyes, you get bubbles of thoughts coming. Like how you go to the Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, or in Jersey Shore or New York Shore or anywhere you live, if you go to the ocean side, you'll see how the bubbles of the waves after waves coming in the ocean. Similarly, as soon as you sit down for meditation, all the thoughts, so much thing you have to take care, all these thoughts will be coming like waves of ocean. But after that, if you continue to do practice, all those because your mind will be going to deep now, that upper surface, all those disturbance will not be able to touch you anymore, because you went deep into your meditation, under the deep into water now, under the deep into your meditation, and you don't feel that bubbles and the waves, what is going on outside world, that cannot touch you. So, tatra ekagram manohit, the mind should be one pointed. You remember when you were doing conducting classes of the Mandukya Upanishad or Mundaka Upanishad, there is a particular verse, Upanishadam dhanur grihitva. The entire Vedant scripture count is as a dhanu, as a bow. Upanishadam dhanur grihitva. And the arrow is your mind. Targeting is the Brahman, the supreme, because Vedanta teaching not any image of the God, supreme. So target is that supreme. We shining the top of the arrow by meditation, by quiet chanting, by our soulful, heartfelt prayers. And then we ekagram mano kritva, we throw the arrow. So that is how Tatra ekagram manoh kritva. Mind should be one pointed, one directed. First, we do the judgment. What is good for me? De vidya veditavya parachaiva aparacha. Paravidya and aparavidya both are poison, and that nectar both are in front of us. It is we have to choose what is good for us, because I know better what is good for me, and I know better what is not good for me. So tatra ekagram manoh kritya yataha chittendriya kriyaha, and making all the activities of the senses to shant, to quiet them. Because all these five senses are running towards five direction, and they're making us more restless. We need more thing. We need this thing today, that thing today, this thing today. This way making us more restless. So yato chittendriya kriyaha, controlling the activities of our senses. Upovishasane yunjat. A devotee should sit quietly at the holy spot of his meditation. Yogam Atma Vishuddhaya. Please practice meditation for the purification of our own soul, purification of our own heart, for the peace of our mind, for feel the touch of that Supreme. So you could see how Lord Krishna now went deep into the ways of meditation. Chaudeshe pratishthappo sthiram asanam atmanaha nattustritam nati nicham choila jena kushattaram tatra ekagram manoh kritva jato chittendriya kriyaha upavishasane junjar yoga atma visuddhaya. Practice yoga for self-upliftment, self-illumination, to get illumined, to be free from all kind of contamination of this world, to free from all kind of dirt from this world. Because our true nature is the purity, is our true nature. So I will be taking you to the next verses now. And so let me see what Lord Krishna teaching Arjuna in next verses. It will continue the process of meditation. The verse number 13 and verse number 14. I'm reading together these two verses. Samam kaya shira grivam Samam kaya shira grivam Dharayan achalam sthiraha Sampreksha nashikagram swam Dishaschana avalokayan Prashantatma vigato bhi Prashantatma vigato bhi Brahmochari brote sthitaha Manaha sangyam mati chitya Manaha sangyamyamati chitya Yuktaya shitamat paraha Shayam kaya shira griva Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Om Namaha Sri Bhagavate Vasudevaya Sri Krishnaya Namo Namaha. Lord Krishna continued to teach meditation to Arjuna. Samam kayo shira grivam. One should practice meditation by sitting steadily, keeping the body, head, and neck erect, fixing the eyes at the tip of the nose, not looking at any other directions, with serenity of mind, being free from fear and anxiety, by remaining in the vow of sense control, restoring the restless mind, fixing the mind at me only, and by counting me at the ultimate goal of life. And you could see how deep Bhagavan Sri Krishna explained of the meditation. So first we prepare our asana. We select a particular spot to sit meditation, and then we prepare our asana. Now we sitting for meditation. How to sit? Samam kayo shiro grivam. Keeping the body samam, straight. Not like sometimes we sitting like this, sometimes we bending like this, sometimes sitting other way. No, keeping the body straight. We have to keep the backbone straight. So samam kayo, shira, the head also have to be straight, looking straight. Eyes will be closed. We're sitting at our asana, keeping the body straight, looking at our head also straight. Gribam, gribam, the neck. So that means the body, the neck, and the head should be straightly sitting. Now, when you attend a yoga class, hot yoga class, the first asana, they teach you how to sit for lotus pose or the padmasana. How to sit in a lotus pose or the sukhasana. So that the first asana, a yoga teacher teaching you the art of sitting at the lotus pose or the padmasana. So that time when we're sitting in the Padmasana or lotus pose, we keep our body erect, neck, head straight. So Samam Kayo Shiro Griyam. So a devotee or a practitioner of meditation should keep his body straight, his head straight, and the neck also should be straight. Because that I mention occasionally, probably you have been hearing from me many times. I met a gentleman in South Africa. It's called Umhlanga area. Umhlanga is the rich community in Durban, very rich. I mean, if you go to the Durban beach, you will see one kind of view. But as soon as go to the Umhlanga or Umhlanga beach, it's completely different. You could see the difference of the two society. So now I met a gentleman there, and he was telling Swamiji that, and I could see the gentleman standing straight, talking to me. He chased up. Sometimes we walking, sometimes we bend our head, bend our chest. I could see the gentleman standing straight. I mean, he's walking. That show his confidence. That show his dynamic approach. That show his positive kind of approach. I mean, that show that he believe in himself. Standing alone, giving that kind of things to idea to me, that I'm feeling the gentleman look so confident and so dynamic kind of thing. So as soon as you sit on your asana for meditation, keep your body erect and head straight. You will feel that dynamism, that encouragement, that hunger, that tenacity, that inspiration to do meditation. So Samam Kayo Shiro Grivam Dharayan Achala Sthiram. So once we're sitting for meditation, we should not make our body like, bending this side, that side, healing. No, it have to be straight. Because sometimes you do like this, sometimes you do like this, sometimes this side you bending other side. It's kind of restless. No, it have to be straight. Like you're sitting like a statue. And I mentioned a couple of times of the life of Yogacharya, Sadgurudev, Acharya Swami Pranavanandaji Maharaj. That you hear me, because that is our master, that is our spiritual master, that is our guru, and he's the founder of this the wonderful monastic organization. a great yogi, spotless yogi, no kind of spot in his character. If you read his life, I have been writing every day, you don't find nothing, no kind of one spot. One time he did not fall down. So what he said, he used to go to the stage, his disciple delivering public lecture, he used to sit one corner. People thought a kind of marble statue sitting straight. He used to sit down there sometime 2 hours, 3 hours, not a single word. And meditation, whenever we talk of the meditation, Guruji telling that you talking of meditation, that time I forgot the word. I used to sit down for meditation hours. And you know that if you read his life, he used to go to the cremation ground for meditation. Why cremation ground? Because we always avoid, because we are afraid to go there. But what happened? That give the idea. This is how you and me, many came to this world. The educated, rich, the all kind of people came. But this is the ultimate end of our long journey of life. And so we, Guruji, is to go deep into his meditation. So here, dharyan achalam sthiraha. The body should be straight and not any kind of movement, at least when you do our meditation. And that is because of this, I see when Brian conducting meditation at our place at the New Jersey Ashram, he introduced a kind of walking meditation. Say you do 40 minutes of meditation, sitting silently. Then you take a 5-minute silent walk while you meditating. Then again you sit down the second session. I see Brian conducting meditation class in that way, and I like that. And Professor Carter also do that same way. It's a kind of walking meditation because we are not familiar to sit on the floor for hour and a half. So we're taking a break, walking 5 minutes quietly, and then we sit for the second session. So samam kayo shirogriyam dharayam achalam sthiraha sampreksha nasikagram. That means we should keep our half open eyes fixed at the tip of our nose. You could see my finger when I'm putting my finger right here. Why? Because as soon you sit down quietly, keeping your body straight, and then your half open eyes, like how I'm doing now, is exactly my eyes is right here. So what that mean? That means you getting opportunity to withdraw your mind from outside world and fixing at the tip of your nose. And you will see there a kind of palm leaf kind of thing. That is the your Agya Chakra, this area. And then after a while, you close your eyes. So, Sampreksha Nasigagram, keep looking at the tip of your nose. It will help you to withdraw your mind from outside world, from office, from job, from shops, from children, from phone, from other places, or from your parent living distance countries. So it will help you to withdraw mind from other places and fixing at one point. Sampreksha Nasikagram Swam. Dishaschan Abolono Koyan. Do not look any other side. Dishascham Abolokayan. Please do not look at other side except looking at the tip of your nose. Prashantatma. Verse number 14. Prashantatma. Keep your body cool, calm, quiet, serene, peaceful. A peace-loving person. Prashantatma. All the sadness, sorrows, negative thing, all the contamination, all the dust from outside the world, try to throw away that time. You are pure, and you are eternally pure. So, Prashantatma, Bigato Bhi. By him, you make yourself free from any kind of fear and anxiety and worriedness. Bigato Bhi. Being free from fear and anxiety. So, Prashantatma, keeping the mind, body cool down, Bigato Bhi. Keep yourself free from all anxiety. Bhagavan Lord Vishnu is so kind. He is being presented especially in the Hindu faith, as the protector of this world. When Lord is protecting you, what power in this world can destroy you? If God gave you protection, you took shelter under the safe shelter of the Lord. There is no power in this world which can destroy you. Please believe in this, the philosophy, that once you took shelter at the feet of the Lord, nothing can destroy you. And Guruji, Swami Pranavanandaji, repeatedly, he mentioned repeatedly, keep your mind focused at the feet of your Guru. Your body might be traveling all over the world. You might be working far distance land, but the hand of blessings of the Guru or the hands of the blessings of your Lord is more bigger than you could imagine. His blessings is everywhere, all over this world. So, Bigato Bhri Brahmachari Brute Sthita. We all know that we need to control the urges of the body. I think that is the best language I could imagine, controlling the urges of the body. I mean to say that we should not be slave of our own urges. There is so much urges in the body, temptation, anger, greed coming, cruelty coming, many kind of other urges in the body. It's a human body. I mean, nobody can be free from these urges. I will give you a small, you will like it. It could be, I think it is 1977 story. 1977. So 1976, 25th of March, I joined this monastic organization, Bharat Sevashram Sangh. 1976, 25th of March. 1 year after, I was living at one center, so the local in-charge Swamiji brought me to Calcutta headquarters for Guru Diksha or initiation. And that time, the president of the organization was Pujya Swami Sachidanandaji Maharaj. In short, we call Pujya Baro Swamiji. He was the first monastic disciple of Acharya Swami Pranavanandaji Maharaj. So Pujya Swami Sachidanandaji Maharaj, the president, sitting president, he was almost, I think, 80 years of age that time. Imagine when Bharat Sevashram was not founded, the Guruji used to wear white dress. There was no ashram at all. So Swami Sachidanandaji and Guruji used to go to the same school. See, Guruji was class 8 standard, Swami Sachidanandaji was in the 7th. So they were in the same school, kind of student. So from that time, he knew Swami Pranavananda. So when I met him, I went to Calcutta headquarters for Guru Diksha, 1997. So I see a monk in his room, very fair color, big body. His picture right here, in the office. When you come to ashram, I will show you. And around 20 monks around him. He's the president of the organization. 400, 500, 600 monks. So always you see monk in his room. And he's standing among all these monks. It was morning, and he's doing exercise standing on his bed. Bed means he make a small, little, maybe 6 feet high, one wooded platform, and there was 2 pieces of blanket. Can you imagine a president of an organization like this, and he's resting on a 6 feet high platform from the floor, and just a couple of pieces of blanket. So he's standing there, taking 2 pieces of mugur or the maize and doing his exercise. And then he was telling, I remember, he's telling to his disciple monk that, look, as long as you will not put this body, means his body, to the fire, the urges of the body do not die. It's so kind of thing. I clearly remember that whenever that kind of, hankering come to myself, in my body, I remember Guruji used to say this word, as long as you are not going to put this body to the fire, these urges of the body would not die. Regardless how much we practice fasting, or how much we do job, meditation, or how much we do speech control, thought control, because it's a human body. So here Lord Krishna say, Brahmachari Brote Sthitaha. we have to have some kind of control on the urges of our body. Manaha sangjim jamnaha. Mind need to be focused. What is the most restless thing in this world? Mind. How to control the mind? Yogaha chitta vritti niraha. We need to practice yoga to control the restlessness of the mind. We need to practice tratakam. We fix a small dot on the wall, or we light a candle in the dark room. Keep looking at one direction just to develop our willpower and power of concentration. It will come as you start your meditation from tonight. Before you go to the bed, before you lie down on your bed, sit on your bed for a few minutes and you try. If you start today, you will see after 1 month, 2 months, how much you are familiar with the meditation. And you'll be learning a lot of techniques also. I'll be coming some of the techniques of meditation. So let me finish these verses, what Lord Krishna is telling. Machittaha. The mind should be focused towards me. Me means the Lord Krishna, means the Supreme. Jukto Ashita Matmaraha. Arjuna, make an inseparable, unbroken, eternal relation with me. Samkayo Shirogrivam Dharana Chalam Sthiraha. Samprekshunashikagram Sam Dishuschana Balokayam. Prasantatma Bigoto Bhi Brahmachari Brute Sthitaha. Manaha Sanjamma Machitta Jukto Ashita Matmaraha. Make friendship with me. I am your friend. I am your well-wisher. I want you to improve. I want you that you prosper. You become prosperous. You shine in this world. You live keeping your head high. So that was the message of the Lord regarding meditation. And now I will be taking you to the verse number 15. Verse number 15 of chapter 6. Junjanevam sadatmanam. Junjanevam sadatmanam. Yogi niyata manasa. Shantim nirvana parama. Mate samastha adhigacchati. Om Guru Kripahi Kevala. Guru Kripahi Kevala. Guru Kripahi Kevala. Guru Kripahi Kevala. Om Guru Kripahi Kevala. Junjanevam sadatmanam yogi niyato manasaha shantim nirvana paramam mat samastam adhigacchati. Thus, Arjuna, a devotee with a focused and resolute mind, fixed it at me, incessantly think of me, meditate on my unique cosmic appearance, attain highest peace of life. Junjan evam junjan, thus practicing meditation this way. Sadatmanam, mind focused at me. Me means here the Supreme. Yogi, a devotee, a spiritually hungry spiritual seeker. Niyato manusha, content mind focus at the Lord only. Shantim Nirvana Paramam, the highest peace of life. Believe me, devotees, this is a kind of the message Lord Krishna giving. If we want peace in life, children, you enjoy to see your children growing up in front of your eyes. They were little babies, they are big now, but they have wing now. They will be fly away. They will they will build out their own nest. So it is we will be there sometimes alone because we don't see them. So many people are going, facing the depression, loneliness in this world. So if we learn the technique how to make a relation with God, if we can hold that Lord is our main friend, the supreme, the friend, best friend, will never feel that loneliness. You will feel that He's always with you. So Shantim Nirvana Paramam, the highest kind of peace will be enjoying. Mat Sangastham Adhigachati, by meditating that cosmic appearance, that beautiful appearance of the Lord. In the Bhagavatam, that Saint Vyasa gives the description how one should meditate. Devotees who love to worship the image of the God, I'm talking for them first, say that I love Lord Vishnu. So Lord Vishnu's appearance, or I keep a small image or murti in front of me, or a picture in front of me. So Lord Krishna has 4 hands with the holding the 4 hand. He has the lotus flower shell and the mace and the Sudarshan Chakra, the spinning wheel. And first I meditate at the lotus feet of the Lord Vishnu. This is the feet, yogi, rishi, muni, thousands and millions of people meditating every day. They're offering their flower, they're putting chandan paste, they're putting the tulsi leaves, they're putting their garland, they're offering their devotion, they're offering themselves at that feet. So we meditate that lotus feet of the Lord. And bit by bit, we imagine the wonderful appearance of the Lord Sri Vishnu. And the devotees and the spiritual seekers who do not want to worship the image of the Lord, we have for them to meditate on the self alone. That wonderful self, that myself and my soul I'm the eternal part of that universal soul. And you feel that oneness, which is called Advaitavadi, that you feel oneness with the supreme beauty of the Lord. That when I will take you to chapter 12, we will be, explaining that thing, that Shakara and Nirakara Upasana, worshipping Lord with image, worshipping Lord with no image. Those things we'll be discussing in chapter 12. So in this particular verse, Lord Krishna said, thus a yogi with focused and resolute mind fixed at me, incessantly think of me, meditate on my unique cosmic appearance, and attain supreme peace. And let me take you to verse number 16. Who could be a perfect person to meditate? That we'll be learning from this verse. Verse number 16, chapter 6. Om Natyasnotastu yogosti na chaikantamanasnataha Natyasnotastu yogosti na chaikantamanasnataha na chati sapnashilasya jagrata naiva charjuna Om Namaha Sri Bhagavate Vasudevaya Sri Krishnaya Namo Namaha. A devotee is required to know that someone who eat a lot and somebody who do not eat at all is not fit for yoga practice. A yogi is required to know that someone who eat a lot and somebody who do not eat at all is unfit for yoga practice. Also, a devotee accomplishes nothing, who sleeps too much, or who remains wakeful most of the time. So this is a kind of quality and the things we need to know before we sit for meditation. Na oti natyasnotostu yogosti. Arjuna atyasnata. Na oti atyasnatas. Means somebody who eat a lot. I mean, we love food. We love to eat. I mean, even I love to eat, everybody like to eat. But then, the art of eating, if we think that our belly, our stomach is a container of food, half we supposed to fill up with the food. And then other half we make two parts, one part fill up with the water and the other part remain empty for air. And also, immediately after food, nobody should drink water. At least 40 minutes after the main meal, we can drink water. But sometimes, we eat so much, there is no room in the body anymore. So here Lord Krishna say that a devotee need to know that who eat a lot is not fit for yoga, because sleep will be coming. And you need time to digest that food. And if you eat rich food with muscle and high kind of food, thinking I need protein in the body, you need so much of time to digest those things. So, natyas notostu yogosti. A devotee who eat a lot is unfit for meditation. Na choikantam anasnata. And somebody do not eat at all. He gets so skinny. You remember the life of Lord Buddha. So Lord Buddha left his home, his palace at the age of 29. So he was wandering, looking for a right spiritual master, looking for right guru. And then, that the many kind of direction he got, but ultimately he thought fasting will help you to subdue all the inner enemies and it will help you to reach the final goal. So Buddha became so skinny, you could see only the bones in the body, like a skeleton. And he could not sit down because he was so weak, he was falling down. And then a time came, he went all the way to the Bodh Gaya. We call Buddha Gaya in our language, but Bodh Gaya. And there was a river called Nairanjana river. Beside the Nairanjana river, there was a tree. He sat down under the tree. And in the meantime, Sujata, the female devotee, she was coming to the tree puja, to worship the tree. And she saw, you could imagine a village, a riverside, a very skinny sadhu sitting under a tree, a village woman coming in pot of sweet rice and a little flower in hand to offer to the tree. Then he see that sadhu or a saint sitting at the root of the tree. He humbly, with due respect and love, she offered that sweet rice to that saint and bowed to him. And then she left. So Buddha accepted that offering and ate that payasam, and then he feel a little better. Then he sit for meditation, and finally he attained that nirvana. So somebody who eat a lot, somebody who do not eat at all, is unfit for practice of meditation. And the second line, na cha oti sapno shilasya. A yogi accomplishes nothing who sleep too much. Life 100 years. How much we sleep? Almost half of our life we sleeping. So 50 years gone, we sleeping. And remain 50 years minus the childhood days and the student time. So almost another 25 years gone, because our parent was after us, our teacher, our professor was after us. All those another 25 years gone. So basically 25 years of time you do whatever you do. So Here, a yogi or a devotee accomplished nothing who sleep too much. Alusya Nidra, Mahashotru, what are the greatest enemy in this world? Acharya Swami Pranavanandaji Maharaj say that laziness, slumber, procrastination, drowsiness, and sleepiness. These are the greatest enemy. The laziness. We'll do meditation tomorrow. We'll do day after tomorrow. After 1 month, 2 months, year go, we'll never get time to sit for meditation. Because alasya, nidra, tandra, jadata, all these are the laziness, slumber, procrastination, sleepiness, drowsiness. These are the greatest enemy of mankind. It will kill you. If you want to do something in life, we have to subdue this enemy. So not oti sapna shilasya jagrata naivo charjuna. Arjuna, also he cannot achieve anything who do not sleep at all. Who do not sleep at all. So that means we need a moderate life, moderate eating, moderate kind of sleep. All these things need a balanced life. We need to learn the technique how to balance ourselves. So we see that how Lord Krishna explained to Arjuna that who is a fit person to practice meditation. Let me take you to the verse number 17. Om Yuktaharo Viharasya Yukto Chestasya Karmasu Yukta Sapna Vavadhasya Yogo Bhavati Dukkha. Om Namaha Sri Bhagavati Vasudevaya Sri Krishnaya Namo Namaha. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, practice of yoga, practice of meditation become remover all sorrows to that person who is moderate in food and his recreation, who is average in his activities, and who is reasonable in sleep and wakefulness. You know that again example coming of Acharya Swami Pranavanandaji Maharaj. Why it is coming is not like, is that not like that I'm a monk of this organization. It's not like that I'm his disciple. It is because presently I have been writing his life. So when I was writing, I said, oh my God, I'm shocked kind of, that I'm giving a small example. There was Bijoy, a young boy, only 22 years. He came to Guruji. So Guruji telling him, Vijay, you have to fan Guruji. So very young. Guruji also young. So Guruji say, today is the full moon night. Vijay, go to under that tree and spend the night for meditation. What happened one night if you not sleep, you're not going to die sleeping whole life. Go sit down there and practice meditation. Think of the life so impermanent. Think that the goal of life, why you came to this world. What is your purpose to coming to this world? Go sit down under the tree. There's a particular tree, I don't know the English word of the shower tree, shawara tree. We call shawara tree. Usually in the bushy area you get those kind of tree. So Guruji said, go there, sit down under the shawara tree and spend the whole night in meditation. Go. Because Guruji loved meditation. People know Bharat Sevashram do a lot of social work, but spirituality is the base of any kind of religious organization. So let me take you to the main verse. Yukta haro means ahara. The food should be balanced. I think in the chapter 16, I will be taking you that what are the Sattika food, what are the Rajasic food, what are the Tamasic kind of food, 3 kind of food. All those we'll be discussing in other chapters in the coming days. But here, that Yukta haro, moderate kind of food, which you feel healthy. You feel like, for example, if you boil little vegetable, make little simple khichdi, you feel healthy. But if you go to Pizza Hut, eat pizza, you will see next day you're not feeling well. I'm not criticizing pizza eating people. Even I like to eat also sometimes. But you know that we experience in our body the way we feel in the body. So, yukta haro, balance in the food. Yukta haro biharasya. Bihar means your movement. Unnecessary, are no need to go here, there, just to, so it kind of bihar, so the controlling the movement of the life also. Yuktaharo biharasya yukta chestasya karmasya. We take so much of burden at our own shoulder and we break down. I see in a village, people used to put so much of the things, rice plant on the bullock cart, and sometimes bull cannot carry so much of luggage, and they just sit down, and sometimes and then the farmer keep beating them, and it's so kind of cruelty. But we have to take the burden, how much we can carry, and what we do not need in our life, cut down those things. So yukto chestasya karmashu, controlling the activities also. Because I'm practicing meditation, I want to attain the peace in this life. So need to control all these things. Yukto sapna abodhasya, who is moderate food in recreation, who is average in his activities, and who is reasonable in his sleep and wakefulness. That Guruji always say that after 3:30, we should not sleep. If you go to bed at 10, we must wake up at 3:30. Get ready, and that is the time for meditation. Why that's the time for meditation? Brahma Muhurta. All the religious books, holy scripture, religious texts, the saint, holy men, they always glorifying that particular moment, that Brahma Muhurta, that morning part. Why? Your brain is cool, the nature is cool, everything is quiet. The saints and holy men, angels, gods and goddesses, they are they are in the above of you. They are waiting to shower their blessings to you. So morning time, people don't know that you practicing meditation so many years early morning at the day. Because even if 4 to 5, if we do meditation, that's not hampering our work. Some people go to work, I know, at 4 p.m., 4 a.m. in the morning. But I'm not talking those. But in general, we can do practice. After 3:30, Guruji said we should not sleep. But we build up a habit. We go to the phone, we go to the Facebook, we go to the internet. So we go to bed at 1. So if somebody go to bed at 1, how he can wake up at 3:30? We need to go to bed early bed. So yoga bhavati dukkha. Yoga, practice of meditation, become free from sorrows and suffering. Somebody live a moderate life. In food, in recreation, in sleep, in wakefulness, somebody keep a balance. So I will be taking you to the verse number 19 now. It's a beautiful example who practice meditation. Yatha deepo nivatasta Yatha deepo nivatastya Ningati sopoma smritaha Yogino yat chityasya Yogino yat chityasya junjat yogamatmanaha yatha deepa nivatasya Guru kripa hi kevala Guru kripa hi kevala Guru kripa hi kevala Om Sri Bhagavate Vasudevaya Sri Krishnaya Namo Namaha. So Lord Krishna gave an example to Arjuna that what will be our situation while we practicing meditation. Lord Krishna tells, Yatha Deepa, like a candle, as at a windless place, a lamp does not flicker. That is the best example of a yogi. Well disciplined, concentrated, and focused, practice yoga to know God. So, yatha deepo nivatasto na ingate samupasmita. Like you light a candle in your room as a windless place, how the candle and the light of the candle do not flicker, steady. So, yatha deepo nivatasto ningate na ingate samupasmita. How that light of the candle do not flicker. Yogina Jata Chittasway, focused mind yogi, who went deep. And we experience that in life. Those who practice meditation regularly, they know what we're talking. Because as soon as you sit your meditation, your mind went deep into the meditation, your body remains steady. You hear the story of the Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa Dev, that Swami Vivekananda Ji's Guruji, Bhagavan Swami Thakur Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa Dev. He was a devotee of Mother Kali. But then great yogi Totapuri came to the place where that Sri Thakur was, Ramakrishna was living. So Totapuri practiced 40 years of meditation at the bank of the Narmada river, and he attained that enlightenment. After he achieved that goal, final goal, while he is walking here, there, reached to Kolkata. So he saw that Gadadhar or Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa, this was a good soul. So he wanted to teach him the way he practiced meditation. But because Sri Ramakrishna Dev was a devotee of Goddess Kali, he could not focus that formless aspect of the God. Saint Totapuri pick up a small piece of brick and hit right here. And immediately Sri Ramakrishna Dev went to the meditation deep. 3 days and 3 nights, no movement, no bathroom, no drinking, no meal, nothing. It's called in Sanskrit language, or we call it Sampurna Samadhi. You merge in divinity. So here, that in a windless room, if you keep a diya, that is the best example. A yogi when sitting, or a devotee sitting for meditation, his situation will be like that, steady, no kind of movement. Jatha deepo nigasasto. Yogina jato chittesya junjate yogamatmanaha. A yogi's mind or a devotee's mind completely, fully focused at the feet of the Lord. So I will be completing today by reading one more verse. That is the verse number 21. It's a very beautiful verse, and that will be the concluding verse today. Om Sukham Atyantikam Yatya Buddhi Grahyamatendraya Vetti Yatra Nachayvayam Sthitaschalati Tattvataha. Om Namaha Sri Bhagavate Vasudevaya Sri Krishnaya Namo Namaha. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna again at that battleground of Kurukshetra, Arjuna, it is yoga where or in which condition a devotee experience supreme happiness through pure intellect. Because while we're doing meditation, and we saw that, when you're doing group meditation, or sometimes you doing meditation, sometimes you cry because tears coming to your eyes. Sometimes you smile also, because you seeing the God, reflection of the God in your mind. Because I see that while practicing, in a Calcutta headquarters, when you go, the monks are practicing meditation in that main temple, maybe 25 monks sitting there. And I could see some monks are smiling, some monks, the tears coming to their eyes. They might be visualizing their guru at the altar of their heart. It is a very normal thing. Shivering in the body. Sometimes your eyes is closed, but you're smiling. Your face is brightening because you experience that divine peace and divinity at your heart. And sometimes they cry too, thinking the boundless, endless blessings of the Lord. So, Sukham Atyakam Jatad Buddhi Grajyam Atindriyam. Atindriya Sukh, that you enjoying in meditation, that happiness which is beyond of the reach of the senses. A kind of different kind of happiness we experiencing. We did here also when you sit for group meditation, and we feel like we are being lost. And those who practice meditation daily, they know what I'm talking, because they experience a kind of happiness which is beyond the touch of the senses. Atindriya Sukha. This happiness, the sweetness of life you experience when you go deep into that meditation. Betri Jatra Nachayvyam Sthitas Chalati, being established there, a yogi, they do not want to come down. And that is the one of the union. I was talking of the Thakur Sri Ramakrishna Dev. After 3 days and 3 nights, he's not coming back. It happened to Swami Vivekananda, it happened to Swami Pranavananda, it happened to many practitioners of yoga. While they are practicing yoga, they experiencing that happiness which is beyond of the reach of the senses, and they don't want to come back. Because they enjoying the company of the God, they enjoying the touch of the divinity, they enjoying the supreme sweetness of their life, and they don't want to come back anymore. They forgot their surrounding, what their duties and responsibilities, what they have to do tomorrow. They forgot everything. You could say, Swamiji, how can we do that? But please keep in mind, this Atindriya Sukha will not remain steady. You might be experiencing this for the time being, because you went deep into your meditation, you will be experiencing that. After that, it will be disappearing. Then when you open your eyes, it will take little time to understand your surrounding, because you were in a different world while you're practicing meditation. But when you come back to the real world, then slowly you find out that, oh, you have to do this thing, this thing. But a devotee who continuously practice meditation, a person who continuously practice this meditation, one day they will learn that how to reach the final goal of life. Because meditation itself will be teaching you. But before I complete this kind of meditation, couple of the meditation, quickly I go through. Shiva Mahapuran gave 4 kind of meditation. Night time, when everybody is sleeping, you sit your asana. And then the way the God described here how to sit, and then you focus your mind at this spot. It's called Agya Chakra, and meditate on the imagine a light, not blinking, steady light. It's called a Jyoti Dhyan right here. That is one type of meditation Shiva Mahapuran gave, the Lord Shiva teaching. And the second kind of meditation Lord Shiva gave, sound meditation. You sit down at your seat, and then you hear that Om sound coming out from your body, inside of your body. And then ultimately time will be coming, you'll be lost in that sound. For example, that you have a habit to practice the classical music. So you open your tanpura you set up, that tanpura noise, you just chanting Om. In a dark room, your tanpura you playing, you like the entire room vibrating that Om sound. You feel like shivering joy, just singing Om, and you feel oneness with that sound. And then Lord Shiva also gave the Kundalini meditation. I mean, we all know that because of the time, I'm not going details in the Kundalini meditation today, that Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata Chakra, Agya, Swadhisthana, Agya, and Sahasrara. So this, Sapta, 7 step, we, lift up our body. That is like climbing 7-story building, from the root of the backbone to the abdomen to the navel area to the chest area. Then you go to the throat area. We go right here and then finally go here. So Kundalini meditation will be talking maybe next setting. So Lord Shiva gave the Kundalini meditation, and sometimes the other form of meditation, this is the last one, that you sit down for a meditation, then you feel like all the saints, holy men, angel entering your house, entering your room and blessings you. You feel that holy presence in the all of your surrounding, and you will feel like they showering their blessings on you, and you feel such a good, and immediately you will see that you'll be going to deep into your meditation. So I think this is enough today. We must finish within time. And today, the whole thing we are learning how to sit in the meditation, how we should prepare our asana, and who is fit for a yoga practice, or who is fit to practice meditation. And then at the end, how a practitioner enjoy atindriya sukha, the peace which is beyond the reach of our general senses. I think by saying this word, I should complete here. Let me say prayer for everybody and then complete. Om Do Shanti Antariksham Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apo Shanti Ushodhaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Vishwe Shanti Sarvam Shanti Shantirevo Shanti Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Namaskar.